As you know, this course is titled Cloud Computing Concepts. However, a major portion of this course is going to be spent discussing distributed systems concepts. What is the relation between clouds and distributed systems? In this lecture and the next one, I argue that a cloud is in fact a distributed system. So a cloud consists of hundreds to thousands of machines on the data center side, collected in a data center. This we call as the server side. On the client side, there might be thousands to millions, maybe even more machines which are accessing services that are hosted by these servers. Maybe web pages, maybe websites, maybe objects that are being stored, and maybe a variety of different services. So that's on the client side. The servers on the data center side, on the server side, communicate amongst one another. So there's communication going on there. The clients, of course, directly communicate with the servers. Each client may communicate with one or more servers. For instance, every time you access your Facebook profile, your client process, whichever browser you're running your Facebook client on, is going to access multiple Facebook servers, some for the photos, some for the profile, some for the wall, and so on and so forth. The clients, of course, may also communicate with each other. This is, of course, something that happens in a cloud as well. Now, all these communications that I've described mean that cloud is in fact a distributed system. The fact that servers communicate amongst one another mean that that is a distributed system consisting of many different servers sending and receiving messages amongst one another. We call this as a cluster. A cluster is a collection of machines that are communicating with one another over a network. The clients communicating with the servers also make a distributed system, a very large-scale distributed system. The clients communicating with each other, for instance, in a peer-to-peer system like BitTorrent, also mean that that is a very large-scale distributed system. So all these different aspects that I've described for a cloud are also aspects of a distributed system. In fact, if you remember the last lecture where we discussed the 4 distinguishing features of clouds, all these features are in fact features of distributed systems as well. The fact that you have many servers in a cloud, massive scale, means that that is a distributed system. The fact that you can access multiple servers anywhere, the on-demand nature of clouds, mean that, again, that's a fact, that's a feature of distributed systems as well, and that means that clouds are a special class of distributed systems. The data-intensive nature, when you have lots of data, you need a cluster, many different machines to store the data, and again, that means a distributed system. And of course, the programming paradigms that exist today, Hadoop, MapReduce, NoSQL storage systems, all of these require clusters, all of these require many different machines communicating with each other. So what I'm essentially saying is that a cloud is a special kind of distributed system, and in fact, a cloud is the latest nickname for a distributed system. Previous nicknames that you've already seen in a previous lecture have included peer-to-peer systems, grids, clusters, and time-shared computers when we saw the data processing industry. All of these are distributed systems, so every one of these is a special kind or a special class of distributed systems, and so is a cloud. A cloud is no exception. And so nicknames come and go, and different kinds or classes of distributed systems come and go, but the core concepts that underlie distributed systems stay the same, and these core concepts continue to be used decade after decade. As an example, Lamport timestamps, which you will study later on in this course, were invented way back in the 1970s and 80s, but they still continue to be used today in almost all the cloud and distributed systems that are implemented today. They are a very core concept, and that's why it's important for us to know them. And this is why this course is really about these distributed systems concepts. We do not want to be restricted only to the cloud, but in fact, we want to study the core concepts that underlie distributed systems, not just the cloud computing systems today, but the systems that have existed for many decades in the past and that are going to be around for many decades in the future. For instance, a few years from now, there may be a new nickname, a new generation of distributed systems. However, the core concepts will likely remain the same, and they will continue to be used in real systems. And that's why we focus and study these core concepts in this course. So our next goal is going to be to try to define the term distributed system. We'll do that in the next lecture.